Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. So, here's the situation. I'm facing someone named Noobs McNabb. He's from the guild Cobra Ka, which is a top-end territory war guild. It means they're going to have really good modding and really good access to team comps, counters, and support. They stream their attacks on Discord, as a lot of guilds do. I'm not above doing it myself, obviously, so I actually did it this match, as you'll see. But it does mean that there's quite a few levels of opposition here. Take a minute to look at our mod comparison and relic comparison. He has me beat and destroyed on all of them, and it's not something that I'm going to just run away from or cry about. I wish that I had as good of mods as this guy does, as this person does, and I wish I had as many relics, and this is just what's going to happen. This is just kind of a microcosm of what's going to be happening in GAC from now on. If we have easy matches for a while, eventually we're going to run up against someone who has us beat this badly, and frankly there are other accounts that are even bigger and more difficult to beat. You can see how many more high-end relics, like all of the tier 6 through 9 have me just completely destroyed, and the mods as well. So pretty uphill battle. My opponent has an impressive roster, and we've got to overcome. Here are my defenses. I put 3 GLs down along with General Skywalker and Darth Revan. Been working on my counters to all of this stuff, and Kenobi even has Cat on it. We have Rey in the back. I don't necessarily love the Rey comp or the Finn comp in the back. I also don't like the Geos. We're gonna have to work on that. It's been a little bit tricky trying to figure out which comps I want to use on defense. We do have Darth Talon to make my Darth Revan faster. That didn't help, as my opponent immediately attacked and destroyed my Darth Revan team, then declined to attack after that. So we have that going. Now, here's what my opponent has on defense, and it's their top zone does not have a GL, but scouting them, they always place 3 Galactic Legends on defense, and so my margin for error is pretty slim here. Lord Vader is a really great team up front. I know that people have been saying that Lord Vader is really bad and that all the off-meta teams beat it, and I haven't seen evidence of this at all. In fact, I think that Lord Vader is, if not the best, one of the top 2 GLs in the game. So you guys will see how that goes, and let's just jump into the fighting. Before we do that, I do want to remind you guys to please like, subscribe, and or comment. We're trying to mount the algorithm, and that your support really helps. I really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 10K by the end of this year. I don't know if we can get there. We've been a little slow these last couple days, but maybe we'll see an uptick. I don't know. That being said, let's go to the actual footage of the match. Alright, shall we begin? Starting with Troopers against Darth Revan. Even though he's got Talon here, I am actually going to be able to outspeed by 2 speed with Piet against their Darth Revan. So we've got Troopers here trying to get the turn meter train going. We don't want to do an AoE from Veers if we can help it, and you can see I'm kind of debating what I should do. Should I just do the turn meter loop? Should I just punch the Sith Empire Trooper? We want to make sure that I have enough room to actually get in there and take out Sith Empire Trooper before I run out of turn meter and Darth Revan takes a turn. So now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. If we do the AoE, it seems kind of cool, but remember that you can actually crit on the AoE from Dark Troopers. So instead of doing that, we're just going to punch the air against Basti because everyone else has a lot of turn meter. So once again, I would love to do the AoE right now and call everyone to assist, but I don't want to rile up Malak here. So we're just going to start working on Malak. And one thing I will point out is we do have my 2 guests on. This is Gambit Fight Night, so I don't have my normal solo base 15 as my co-host for the podcast or anything there, but I do have a member from the Gambit Alliance, which is Calvin Awesome. He hasn't lost in over a year, and Celiac Xaereth from Holotable News Network and Under the Holotable fame. She's got a podcast, look her up, good stuff. She's also my co-host for my Wheel of Time podcast, which you can find a link for in the video description. So we got the max banners there, and immediately jumping into a fight with Lord Vader. This is Relic 9 Lord Vader. This is a really tough comp, and I don't... I've practiced this a lot of times. There's one situation where you lose, and that happened here. Maul had his 5 stacks because Gideon was able to go before Jedi Revan, which, I mean, that's inevitable. If they want to make that happen, that's always going to happen. But he managed to increase Jedi Revan's cooldowns by 2, which means I can't cleanse as well. We have Shaak Ti here to help with cleansing, but with just her doing it, it's a pretty uphill battle. Jedi Revan is the guy you really want to help with that. So this is a really tough break for me because I only have 3 Galactic Legends to counter his presumably 3 as well, and you can see that he's already got his ult ready, and so I don't know. I think maybe I should have just tried to take out Royal Guard with my big hit from Ki-Adi-Mundi. I think that would have been good. There's probably little gameplay frustration, like little things that I could have done here better, but you can see Jedi Revan and Shaak Ti just died from his AoE there, and we can't even target Royal Guard here, and he's healing, and it's just a fiasco at this point. Hoda kicks over, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Ki-Adi-Mundi is dazed, and he's got all the dots, and there's not really much recourse. This is something I've climbed against in Arena a lot, and I know that Arena's kind of defunct these days, but this combo of Maul plus Gideon is really strong. I do have a Relic 9 Jedi Master Luke as well, and all I can say is, damn it all. So we're going to do our secondary comp against the Lord Vader team, and that means we want to put the health tech, eventually the med pack, on old Daka, and the idea is this team doesn't do well. Like there's only 1 AoE on this entire team. Well, I guess there's Maul, and then there's Lord Vader also has one, but we want to save. The first move seems counterintuitive because we don't have any stacks on us, but Supreme Leader Kylo gets the shield tech to dispel all the nonsense on him, but then he does an AoE as early as he can to get rid of all of those other debuffs, and then honestly you just save your AoE to be able to cleanse the rest of your team whenever you can, whenever it's strategic. So otherwise we're just trying to keep Daka alive. We don't want her to die of sadness. We can't let her die of dots, because if she does, then Zombie won't revive her. And so we've got the 2 techs out, and now it's just a race against time. You can see we haven't killed anyone yet. It's already been almost 2 minutes, and obviously we're speeding all of this up. The goal is to have these videos out. I'm trying to make videos that'll be published, not published, but be able to be watchable in 30 minutes. And so I don't know how possible that's going to be on some of my videos, but we are trying to manage that. So you can see without their AoEs and the zombies' perpetual taunt because of advantage there, and the renewal of said taunt because of Supreme Leader Kylo and his lead, you can see that Zombie, they just keep killing Zombie over and over again. And of course, old Daka benefits from that. She's also healing every time someone takes a turn because of the med pack. But Lord Vader gets his second ultimate, which is pretty scary. We haven't killed anyone yet. We only have 2 minutes left, and we need to keep going. Old Daka is just about to die here. You can see 14 dots on her, but I had saved an AoE just for that occasion. Get the heal on Daka, and we can pop the ult. Remember, all of our offense is lowered because of Gideon. Well, I guess not. I guess the offense from Gideon, the offense reduction isn't applied on Supreme Leader Kylo. But anyways, we're running out of time. We have 1 minute and 15 seconds. Even as we finally got our full ultimate, our Fultimate, if you will, we still need to actually do some damage to these guys. So finally got rid of Royal Guard. Need to take out Stormtrooper here, and less than a minute left. It is getting close. I don't really have a team that can finish off Lord Vader. So we've got 45 seconds left, and I just want to take him out, but I can't. He just gets he gets another ultimate, and it's pretty scary, guys. 30 seconds left, 25 seconds left. Can't do enough damage here, and he heals all the way full. You can see, do that poke for 1,000,000 damage. I heal myself for 400k damage as well, but oh my gosh, that was super tense. Got the cleanup, and now we're gonna use Bad Batch on this Vader team, on this comp, and the idea is we needed to get days off first. So even though Vader went in the middle, as long as we got days on Vader, he couldn't gain that bonus turn meter from Palpatine lead. So now, even though he did his AoE, and that hurt my feelings a little bit, now Bad Batch can kind of just melt the team by doing their turn meter shenanigans and being able to just, you get the defense up, and then that means you have true damage and just destroy the team. So 65, we got there, but that's a pretty good team. I was very impressed. I couldn't figure out a good comp for it, so wasting Bad Batch in a way. Now, this is another thing that's a little bit awkward that I realized was, so they have a really fast Queel, of course. That's not necessarily awkward, but the idea here is I don't really have a good Jedi team. If I use the Jedi comp that I had used previously that you guys saw from my Jedi Master Luke team, this is kind of the only Jedi I have left. So we have to use Jedi Luke as lead, which is fine sometimes, but he's not, I don't know, he's fine. He does okay, but I wouldn't say he's my first choice for lead. So yeah, we're facing this Bando team. I couldn't figure out, I'm like, I really need to keep my bounty hunters for offense is what I need to do, because bounty hunters are kind of my cure-all. They're kind of my panacea. And so I hit their Bando, made sure that he got his turn before IG went, and everything. Just wanted to take him out as quick as possible. So he did kill Jolie, unfortunately. Kind of ironic, though, because the Whistling Birds were going to make it so that I couldn't revive anyways, and so, I mean, in a lot of ways, that was actually a really helpful situation. Now we've got to take out Queel. I mean, but at this point, it's all over but the Cryon. You guys know the deal. As long as you can snipe out Bando, I mean, really high off it's Bando with really good speed. They have them all clocked, and this is just a dangerous team. And this team isn't optimized to take out a Bando team, frankly. So I was just happy to get the win, but it's going to be pretty bad banners, I would say. It's a tricky thing to do. 58, I mean, in the way that it used to, that's like a 53 is what it would have been back in the day. So 53, not the best. Dropped a lot of banners, and there it is in the back zone. 2 Galactic Legends. I only have 1 available, so we're going to have to get a little bit fancy here at some point. But first, I wanted to take out some teams up top. So we've got the Bad Batch team, really, really fast Echo, but you can take out the whole Bad Batch team pretty easily if you use Commander Luke. You target Echo first so that he can't go, and this time I was able to wipe him off the map before I could even take a second turn. But after that, I mean, you just look at their turn meters and try to determine who you should hit, who you're going to be best served hitting, and in this case, I don't think that, I mean, they got some turns, they didn't get any really significant turns. So we got that 65, sweet 65, and now one of my favorite fights of the whole match. After a while of looking at this, I was like, man, I want to use my dash with Omicron here. What can I do with dash Omicron? And look at that. R2 killed both Kira and Dash at the same time, but Vander was able to revive both of them somehow. Not really sure how that works. I would have guessed he couldn't do that, but I'm happy enough with it. And then eventually we got a turn, because as long as I don't kill Vander, he's just going to keep him reviving. And eventually we'll get a turn. And once we get a turn, then especially Dash, even though he's only 4 stars and gear 11, so he's just dying all the time, he is still going to be able to get a turn. He can debuff everyone, and all of those debuffs are both something that can't miss and can't be resisted. Now, this was kind of a mistake. You can see that Rey has stagger. Yeah, that's the debuff. I was like, what the heck is this called? She has stagger, and I was like, man, okay, let's just knock that stagger off, and then we'll start hitting BB-8. I should have just started hitting BB-8, because obviously that didn't work. She just gained a bunch of turn meter in response to all of my hits anyways, so just kind of a poor choice on my end. So just going to kind of slow it down a little bit here. Get healing immunity on L3. She just keeps dying, or at least I think she died a couple times. So one way or another, though, I mean, as long as they don't kill Vander, which you're kind of vulnerable to their exposed damage, of course, because you have a huge preponderance of health compared to protection. As long as he doesn't die, L3 kind of protects him anyways, then you eventually get what was equivalent to a 58. So now we're getting in the weeds, guys, because I've already, if I had been able to clear that Lord Vader in one shot, which I'm not complaining about, but if I had, then I wouldn't be in this situation, because then I could use Galactic Legend to counter one of these. But instead, I'm like, okay, let's try to take this Nute team out with Palpatine and our 4-star Mara Jade. And, you know, I've got some good support cast and everything, but, I mean, these guys are all really fast, really well modded as well. Jango, you can't hurt or anything. And so, we even managed to stun him, but then L3 got hit and dispelled that. So, trying to figure this out. If I could get a fracture off on Droideka, that'd probably be ideal, but L3 is kind of blocking us from doing that, unfortunately. And I'm trying to figure out, I mean, do we do a huge hit with the mark or with the thing on Dark Trooper? And apparently I didn't do that. And then Jango decided to just kill Dark Trooper and then Mara. But I was like, you know what? I think we may still have legs. I'm not sure, but Jango's available for death. Let's see if we can take him out. We can stun him with Thrawn because he has ability block. And so one thing that you'll notice is that I really wrestle with extortion here. Paying extortion is such a tricky thing to do because you lose a turn, and I mean those turns are just so valuable. It's just very difficult to remember to do that sometimes. So probably should have reduced turn meter there a little bit, but I was trying to be strategic in when I did it. And actually, I think that now in hindsight, that was actually an okay move. We don't want Droideka to kill anyone. Ideally, this is a tricky situation because if we could just keep going, we have the fracture on L3 again, so that we can actually hit other characters. And there we go. We didn't pay extortion, so that was an issue. Droideka didn't kill Thrawn either, so there is that. I mean, we can't fracture Droideka, though, because L3 is just hanging out there being fractured. And so Droideka is just kind of getting full access to us. And we did get the stun on Droideka, which is nice. I was like, oh man, maybe we can actually just take out Droideka. But of course, we're also, I'm making the mistake of, I mean, everyone's got extortion here. And I'm like, man, can we kill Droideka? Almost did. He rolled up once again, and now I'm like, okay, well, too little too late. I think I'm frustrated because I feel like I played this well, and at the same time I made a lot of mistakes as well. So got L3 down, pay our extortion, see if we can stun at someone. Oh, we didn't try to stun someone, we just tried to shock someone. There we go. There's the stun. Trying to pass the turn, and Calvin reminded me, oh, you should pay your extortion, and I guess that was wise. I still resent it, though. There, we got armor shred on him. Oh, cool. So we've got fracture, but now grief is gone, so we've only got one person who can actually attack Droideka, and Droideka is dodging and doing all sorts of things. We should have tried to stun, and we actually just timed out there. Maybe we could have managed it after a while, but couldn't quite do it. So now we're going back downstairs, and we've got this Rey Cat team that we've got to deal with. Rey is high offense and has decent health as well. Actually, very similarly modded to mine. I'm proud to say that I have better health than her. I have a better, like a little more health and a little more damage than hers, but we're very similarly modded. I mean, really to the point where it's just vanity for me to say anything. So I wasn't sure who to mark. I marked Rey and Cat because we wanted to make sure that if I got my ultimate early on, that I could take Cat out. And the idea here is the reason I took the characters that I did. We have Barris here, we have Armor, and then Baze. I needed a pre-taunt because I was pretty sure that Cat was going to hand the turn to Veteran Han, who was going to do an AoE ability block, and if he did that, then Armor was was not going to be able to hand the buff to Palpatine, Sith Eternal Emperor, which is obviously pretty necessary. So I did get kind of lucky in the sense that I did get my ultimate off before Rey was able to get hers off. I do think that because of the way I'm modded, I don't think she would have been able to take me out, actually. I'm pretty confident that she would have failed to kill me, but just because I have 200k health and I have the healing tech. But you can see, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. That she did a lot of damage even without Cat there, increasing her damage. So maybe I got lucky there. Maybe she would have just wiped me out if she had gotten her ultimate off before I'd taken Cat out. But as it happens, it's a cow's opinion, which it's moo. No one cares. So got that one. And now we've got to take out Sith Eternal somehow. And this is one of the reasons I love General Grievous on offense, because he can take out a few different Galactic Legends, or at least threaten them with his just pretty standard team. You can see everyone's got days, and that's not wonderful. Even though I have such high tenacity on everyone, I have so much tenacity. It's a somewhat frustrating thing. But Magna Guard eventually got a turn, dispelled all the nonsense. We did manage to get a 2 there, killed 2 Sith at once, because remember, every time you kill 1 Sith, then all the other Sith heal up all the way to full health and protection, and so killing 2 in one shot is actually really nice, because then everyone who remains is still going to be able to get their full health and protection, but it's still there's only a couple that get that, and you don't have to re-kill characters who are on their deathbed. So anyways, we got it down to Sith Eternal. Pretty tricky situation because of the way it is. I mean, it's looking pretty good here, actually. We can call the Mass Assist from Nute if we get Extortion off on him, and but slowly Palpatine is getting his ultimate, and now it's not so slow. Grievous doesn't even have any protection left, and Palpatine, it's a race, guys. They killed our Magna Guard. We're getting a lot of turn meter. We're getting there. But can we kill him in time? He's got 200k health of his own. Can we take him out? He can't. He's got healing immunity, so he can't heal himself. But just in time, he killed us. I timed out here instead because B1 didn't die. Decided to time out because he had low health, and now we're just going to use this Maul team, and we just got to take him out. Got to try to finish off Sith Eternal. So, I mean, this isn't wonderful. I haven't fought a Sith Eternal on defense for a very long time, so it's kind of unexpected, but managed to get it down with a fail. So we failed 3 times so far. Not a great situation. And now there's this Dash team. It doesn't have the Omicron from Dash, and it doesn't. So everyone's Scoundrel here. Everyone is Scoundrel, and then but only one is Smuggler. Well, I guess that Nest is a smuggler. The real thing though is Vandor Chewie is the only one who is actually able to revive and do have the prepared mechanic going on. And so I mean everyone else has prepared, but they can't use it. So once Vandor Chewie's gone, then the rest of this is easy-ish. The problem, of course, being that Nest is going to be really difficult to beat with Bam. But I was out of teams. My offensive teams, like, if I had taken Outlord Vader at the first, I don't think there would have been many issues. But as it stands, I mean, you just got to do what you got to do. I was like, well, if I take the rest of the teams out and then I just can't kill Nest, then I guess that happens. But we can at least get tenacity down on Nest, and then once we do get tenacity down, then we'll at least be able to slowly over time take her out, because we can apply shock and healing immunity and all that stuff. So I was trying to preserve her hit points so to get a hit, and lo and behold, we had Nest get 145k and kill her own kind. I don't think I've ever seen Nest kill her own kind before. Now we're just using some leftover bounty hunters. I happen to have Boba available, so managed to kill Droideka, even though he had invulnerability, damage immunity, whatever it's called. And this has been a really tricky defense my opponent had. I've been very impressed with. I mean, there's some teams that were just so difficult to beat that aren't like A-level teams. They're really tough to beat though, because they have really good mods. Now it goes to figure that they would in turn have some the best fleet comps in the back, and we got to finish off the Phasma team. So just using the Mon Mothma team, no Kyle Katarn here or anything, just taking it easy. Everyone else is relict. We don't need Kyle Katarn to do anything anyways. So take out Phasma first, because she can give turn meter to the whole team. And you'll note that I do have Karth here instead of Biston, because I want to be able to put healing immunity onto OG Kylo if possible. That's going to be a really important debuff on him eventually, just because one of the biggest problems with him is he heals at such a high rate. So the idea is we want to be able to keep that healing immunity on him. So I'm trying to figure out at what point I should actually use the Karth second ability to be able to spread the debuffs that already exist on people. And we want to make sure that healing immunity just stays on him, because everything can get really messy otherwise. And yeah, I mean, Mon Mothma, Phasma's not a great team anyways, frankly, but they can steal banners against the right stuff. And I mean, Phasma's actually not a bad team on offense either. They can finish off some GLs if you get the drop on them, if you get the right situation. So anyways, I think we got max banners here, something close to that at least, because Kylo's just not gaining that much turn meter because my guys are hogging all the turn meter, and Mothma can be a really, really big, annoying character. Eventually got through all of his crazy defense and made it through. So we got through the squads, thank goodness. Even with how many times I failed, I was able to slug it out. And now we're going to have to take out his high-end Executor comp. Of course we are. And so they targeted TIE Fighter Pilot first, which is apparently the best way to do it. And I did manage to get some Buzz Droids onto Razor Crest early on, and then that way when we do the AoE on him, we can actually do some assists. Of course, he dispelled it on himself, and that's fine apparently. But now we got to see what RNG, if we can get the target onto Xanadu Blood and then not miss with the big hit, which are 2 big points of RNG, then we can hopefully just take out Xanadu Blood. And if we can kill Xanadu Blood, then life gets a lot easier. At least if we have to do a second attack or something, if we have to clean it up. And we did manage to do that. And so now we got to start working on the rest of these ships. And really what it is, it's a race now to get to our ultimate. We have 2 turns to ultimate. So we're going to get in our whatever it's called, the Old Republic ship, and just try to take out the Razor Crest in the meantime. We did get the Dispel on the Taunt because no one had Breach on them, but that was pretty short-lived, and now Slave 1, of course, is in. And the thing that makes me laugh, guys, is the comp so everyone keeps trying to find the best comp with Executor, and what ends up happening is it's actually just the bounty hunters, just all the bounty hunters, and that's it, because you don't want, everyone else is so much worse that they mess everything up in a huge way that you really just want Executor to go with bounty hunters, and that's it. You want to guarantee that the first things that come in are bounty hunters, and So I managed to get the ult off, thank goodness. The only real ship left is the Hyena Bomber, of course. But we killed Houndstooth, and now we can get in our soldier and can gun these guys down. Once Houndstooth has buzz droids and no protection, it gets pretty easy. So 60 banners, which is like a 53 in the old system, but a one-shot is pretty nice against this team. And now we're going to use Rebels against this Negotiator comp, and so we got kind of lucky here, managed to get just the right combination of assists, and then we could do the AoE from the Falcon to be able to finish off Jedi Knight Anakin before he could do very much. And so now we're just get rid of that daze on the Falcon, and I mean, as long as we can keep our Falcon alive for a little bit longer, this will be a decently high banner win. And we can do the wiggle on the Falcon now that the daze is passed, and we're gonna just take out Ahsoka as quick as we can. I was trying to click on Falcon there, but I'd misclicked apparently with Cassian, and that happens. And I mean, at the end of the day, folks, we get the win against this fleet, and it's not too bad, I guess. It's you know, we needed some better RNG. I wouldn't say I got super unlucky in my other fights, but I will say that this has been, it's been a slugfest. I mean, the guy just has so many more relics and stuff, and so many better mods. You're just gonna feel it more. It's going to be much more challenging. So here, let's go to a different slideshow here. So at the end of the day, folks, sorry if this was jarring to you, but he did end up clearing me. He won. As may be expected. I mean, I dropped 100 banners total. That's not really conducive to winning matches. He beat me by less than 40, so that if he dropped a couple more, but he did drop one against my Rey team in the back. No idea what he used, so we'll have to check that on GAC history. And he also failed one on Executor, which is understandable, but otherwise, I mean, I must have nickel and dimed him some as well, because that's only 40 total banners that he dropped, and he would have dropped, I guess he would have dropped another 20-ish to be able to get to the score that he was at. So, I don't know, at the end of the day, here's kind of my last thoughts, folks. I need a better Lord Vader counter. At least I need something that can beat Lord Vader with the combination of Gideon and Maul, because if Gideon goes before all my comp, then Maul is going to be able to do his AoE right away, and then he does all of his hits, and if he targets Jedi Revan, then everything's over. I think maybe Supreme Leader Kylo might be the first drop against that specific one, but it occurred to me, I need a better Lord Vader, so I actually do have him at Relic 9 now instead of 8, and we're gonna probably just rip this comp off of my opponent. This was a really powerful one, so kudos to him. And then obviously the final thing was my Jedi splits are a little awkward. We need to work on that a little bit to try to make this a little bit better in terms of, like, we don't need Jedi Knight Luke trying to lead the troops, and if you had been with Jedi Master Luke initially, then who would have led? Like Grandmaster Yoda? I just don't know, folks. So need to figure those things out, and otherwise I think we're gonna call it good. So guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things Xaereth prevails. Even when we lose, gotta learn, and as I say, prevail. Good game to my opponent.